So today we're going to be doing a little review on the Wet n Wild Photofocus. Every time. Hello. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing a little review on the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation. This stuff costs around $5 at Walmart. I think that you definitely need to go ahead and purchase this if you are in the market for a new foundation, or if you're just a makeup enthusiast or collector such as myself. I really think that you would like to have this in your collection. There's a huge shade range, if you ask me, compared to other companies. I think there was like 16 different shades. So if you can't find your perfect match for the price of these, you could definitely buy 2 of them and just make your own perfect match. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Let's go ahead and jump into the video and you can decide what you think at the end. Don't forget to subscribe and always be you. We're going to be reviewing the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in soft beige today. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's get the hair out of the face. That'll work. Alright, so I'm going to give it a fair shot and I'm going to go ahead and do everything that I typically would when doing foundation. So I'm going to start off by taking a moisturizer, and y'all have seen me talk about this a few times now. It is the Equate Beauty All Day Moisturizing Lotion with SPF 15 in it. And with this, you do not need a whole lot of product at all. That right there is more than enough. And my mirror is over here. If you're wondering why I'm looking this direction, that's the reason. My primers change from time to time. Here lately, I've really been loving the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer. And I just like to take 1 pump of this, and I mainly focus it around my cheeks up here under my eyes. I put like a dot on my chin, and then the rest of it all goes towards the forehead because I have a lot of fine lines up there. So I really focus it in this area, and then whatever is left, I just kind of blend it outwards towards the rest of my face. Alright, now it's time for foundation. Like I said, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation. This is supposed to do really well with flashback. Now, having that SPF under there, you know, I don't know if that's going to affect this foundation or not, but we will definitely take some pictures with flash to find out, because as you know or may not know, SPF can cause some problems with flash photography. So on one side of my face, I'm going to use a damp beauty sponge, and the other side I'm going to use a brush. And the sponge I'm going to be using today is the Real Technique sponge. This is one of my favorite beauty sponges on the market, just in case you're on a budget and, you know, don't really want to spend the money on the beauty blender. However, I do think the Beauty Blender and the Real Technique sponge work the same. Alright, so there it is applied with the Real Technique sponge. It went on amazingly well. It went on super fast. I don't see any flaw. I mean, I didn't blend right there very well. That wasn't the sponge's fault, that was mine. There we go, that's better. Alright. So as you can see, it's pretty good coverage. Like, it seems like a medium to full coverage foundation. I see no issues. It didn't settle down into my wrinkles, which is awesome. That's a big deal for me. And we're going to go ahead and see about the brush side. So when I'm applying with a brush, I like to first push it into the skin, and then I'll come back through and swirl it around a bit to finish blending it. Alright, so here we are with both sides blended out. I think both sides look about the same. The brush that I used was the e.l.f. powder brush. This is my favorite brush for applying foundation. I just think it does a really good job, and it really helps me to get into the cracks around my nose. So overall, I feel like you could use both the Real Technique sponge and the brush. I like initially putting on foundation with a brush first, and then I usually go back through with a beauty blender and just hit it in certain areas if I feel like it's not blended out the absolute best. You don't have to do that, but it's just personal preference, and I will probably keep doing that. Additional security, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just helps me feel like I have it all blended out. Alright, so I guess now we will just see how everything else applies over this foundation. This foundation, I do feel like, has a matte texture to it. It is a little bit sticky, so I will definitely be setting it with a little bit of powder. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the e.l.f. HD setting powder and just get the minimal amount, like I'm talking minimal, whatever's in the lid, and just tap that off and go over my face to get rid of the sticky situation. And I'm trying to avoid the eye area as much as I can because we have not put on any concealer or anything. Alright, for the concealer for the under eyes, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me. This one is in the shade 35 Deep. This is probably going to be a little bit dark, so I might mix in some of another shade with it. But I'm not really wanting a super bright under eye. I just want to conceal any dark circles that I might have. So I took a little bit of the deep shade, and then I'm going to take number 15 Fair as well and just place it right over the top. And to blend that in, I will use my Real Technique sponge. And whenever I'm concealing my under eyes, I like to go ahead and carry it onto the eyelid as well as an eyeshadow base. To set my concealer in place, I'm going to use the Airspun translucent powder. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and apply some eyeshadow in my brows, and I'll be back to do the rest of the face. Alright, so eyeshadow is on. Let's go ahead and work on the rest of the face. I definitely use this pretty much every time now. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Light. And I just take it on a big fluffy brush. This brush I have had for years, and it is a Revlon, I think it's the Revlon blush brush. So I just take it and really load this up because this is a light bronzer, so it does not go on dark at all. And I just hit my cheekbones. I do the whole 3 situation, like just work it in your skin in the shape of a 3. And it's going to give you a really nice bronzy color without being too overpowering and hitting your entire face. And this is a matte bronzer, so it's not going to give you any shimmer, which in the summertime I don't really mind some shimmer, but like in the winter time this is going to be amazing. And to more contour, I'm going to take, this is the Mega Glow contouring palette in Dulce de Leche, and I'm going to take this dark shade on a Glamour Dolls brush. Any angled brush should do you good. So I'm just going to take that and focus it on the outer parts of my face and carve out my cheekbones. Make sure you tap off your brush each time that you use it to kind of keep from having powder all over your face or going in with too much product at once. And I'm going to take a dry beauty blender, and I'm going to take the light shade and just run this right through there and get some product, and then I'm just going to use that to kind of clean up this contour right here. Just a little bit of a cleanup, and then I'm just going to immediately dust that away and blend everything together. Alright, and then for one of my favorite parts, I'm just going to take this Wet n Wild highlight right here. I'm going to use this shade over here, and I'm going to put that everywhere. Not really everywhere. We're going to hit the highest point of the cheeks, the tip and bridge of the nose, a little bit above the eyebrows. Not anything super crazy though. I'm not really huge into that. Definitely the Cupid's bow, and then just a touch on the chin. And one of my favorite places to apply highlighter is on the inner corners of the eyes as well. I just feel like it really wakes them up. For lips, I'm just going to use a very deep nude shade. This is Java by, who are you by? Wet n Wild. Alright, and this is the finished look. I'll definitely make sure to stay tuned with you through the rest of the day to let you know what's going on and how this foundation is wearing. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. And as of right now, I think that it is completely beautiful foundation. It's performing like a high-end foundation. I know that's daring to say, but to me it is definitely performing like a high-end foundation. It actually looks like my skin, and I really appreciate that. I very much appreciate that it has not settled into these wrinkles. Like, I don't have cake going on up here. Compared to other foundations, even at the drugstore, this is considered a cheap foundation. Like, I usually pay like $10, sometimes $12 for foundation, and this stuff is under $5, guys. I will definitely be repurchasing it, and the shade range was fantastic to me. And as far as I'm concerned, for the price of these, like, I could have probably bought 2 just to make sure that I have a good shade in the summer and the winter, and then you get double the product for the same price that you're going to pay for another foundation at the drugstore. And yeah, that's all for now, so I shall see you guys in a little while. Alright y'all, so this foundation has been on for a few hours now, probably going on about 4 hours, and I have reapplied the lipstick, but everything else is still looking really nice. The highlight and everything is still there. It hasn't eaten it or anything. I am still so impressed by this forehead action. It is like crazy. It's not coming to the surface, which really makes my heart so happy. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it right now. And I didn't even set this with a setting spray, so it doesn't seem to matter. It's still holding on for dear life. So we're about 4 hours in. I will make sure to come back to you and let you know what's up in a little while. Alright guys, so final results. This foundation has been on for around 7 or 8 hours now, and I think that it is definitely worth a try if you are in the market for a new foundation. I very much suggest that you go purchase this one. I don't feel oily. My skin still feels amazing. It still looks amazing. Like, it's never settled down into my wrinkles. So I'm definitely approving this one for myself. I will definitely be purchasing this one again. I highly recommend this foundation to each and every one of you. And I forgot to show you the consistency of it earlier. This was a freaking review and I didn't show you that. So whenever you open it up, it just screws on, and it has one of those applicators in it, and it's a fairly liquidy foundation. So it's really nice and light on the skin. And I would kind of compare it to this NYC one, which I also love a whole lot. The NYC one is a little bit more thick though, the consistency. But I feel like they both perform very much alike. And they're both, this one is actually a little bit cheaper than the Wet n Wild one. But it's more pink. Like, I can't find a good shade for me for it. But I definitely recommend the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation. It's awesome. Well, that's all for me for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and always be you.